Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So Jake Chervinsky here, he's a lawyer in the blockchain space. Here's what he posted on Twitter just yesterday afternoon. There are good times ahead for crypto, but also tough times, and I'm not sure everyone's really prepared for both. Boy, is that ever a foreboding statement. Now, in this morning's video, if you guys didn't catch that video, I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. I talked about this idea that stable coins are being targeted right now by the SEC and other organizations because they are the vehicle to preserve wealth. This in turn suggests that many regulatory bodies realize that the bull run is not stopping in 2022. And this is why I'm thinking that they want to push these regulations out the door, that they want to get them solidified so that they do not lose out on, for example, taxing Americans when Americans take gains, for example. And so, I've got the total market cap up here, just demonstrating that, this could just be another correction in the grand scheme of things, and that perhaps we are not going to see what some are suggesting, which is Bitcoin retracing to the 702 and then the entire collapse of the crypto market. It is a way more mature market than what we had back in 2017 and 2018. And so Jake Chervinsky is saying, good times for crypto, but also tough times. Of course, the regulatory teething pains will have something to do with that. Ripple and XRP are definitely going to be in the spotlight, and many eyeing April 2022 now that Jeremy Hogan has said, that's kind of the deadline. We might get a verdict before that, but that is the deadline for the Ripple and SEC case. And so, of course, many of us paying attention to that. This is also being paid attention to by many others in the crypto space just in general, because this is going to have a lot of implications on how other cryptocurrency projects are being regulated. So if you guys didn't catch this morning's video, I suggest you watch it. My theory on stablecoins, I got to bring this up from XRP Crypto Wolf. Reuters report predicts banks and Wall Street will need to answer to crypto demand. So another point here, guys, reported by Reuters, banks are gearing up to get into the crypto craze in 2022. That sets them to wrestle with a host of issues that differ from their core business, from murky regulation to a market that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So this, since the market, I guess this is another point here that I should mention, since the market does operate 24/7, not only do banks have to wrestle with a host of issues, as this article puts it, but they're also going to have to wrestle with this idea that they're going to have to change out their systems to be able to cater 24/7, i.e. blockchain, DLT technology. So not only are they going to have to be able to provide crypto services, they're going to have to reintegrate their systems to be able to provide crypto services, and that will have to be on a blockchain DLT type process. The value of digital currencies outstanding has tripled to more than $2 trillion since 2020. So this is just giving some more stats. What would really open the floodgates for the largest banks would be the regulatory nod to get directly involved in the custody and trading of digital assets, among other things that would help stop lucrative hedge fund clients from going elsewhere in their crypto needs. But banks, constrained by regulations, can't predict where watchdogs will end up. While the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp has expressed openness to increase crypto exposure, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency has sounded skeptical, and the SEC has essentially promised to crack down if it ends up in charge of cryptocurrencies. So that's a bit of a tidbit here from Reuters. Of course, this has many moving parts involved. The regulatory clarity in the United States, obviously some of the biggest hurdles that the crypto industry has been facing. Anyway, guys, if you want to read the rest of this, I will link it in the description. Meanwhile, another one from XRP Crypto Wolf. Gary Gensler has appointed lead counsel George Tenreiro to his executive staff. So he gave George Tenreiro a promotion, essentially. Corey Fraser, Phil Havenson, Jennifer Songer, and George Tenreiro are now on Gary Gensler's executive staff. So George Tenreiro gets a promotion. He was promoted to enforcement counsel, a role in which he will advise Chair Gensler on matters involving the Division of Enforcement, quite a prominent one, as the SEC continues its regulation by enforcement practice. Just gives you guys some information on George Tenreiro and his history. Of course, they talk a little bit about the Ripple XRP lawsuit. And so not much more to report on that. Interesting, though, considering he was lead counsel, perhaps still is, for the Ripple SEC lawsuit. Maybe they will replace him with someone else, considering now he has new duties to attend to. There are no details on that. If somebody does know more details about that, please do put it down in the comment section, or please tag me on Twitter. Would like to know more about that. Gonna keep moving. Stefan Hubert sent me this. Remember, when the SEC claimed in May that there was no need to provide the staff's internal views on Ethereum and Bitcoin because they had enough public statements about them. Then in August, so this is where the great sleuthing comes in, then in August, only a few months later, they claimed that those public statements were just personal opinions. This is insanity, and guys, it is written in stone. We have a record of it. The SEC's views and interpretations about digital assets were expressed in public SEC guidance. Here, let me open this up a little. And the other public sources described below. In other words, defendants are able to assert all their defenses, including that XRP is like Bitcoin or Ether for purposes of Howey, based on publicly available facts known to all parties. Internal staff views on intra-agency communications about Bitcoin and Ether are relevant. The SEC's interpretations and views on the law must be and are publicly expressed. So, stated right down there. Then they do a 180 on the Hinman speech, claiming those were his personal views. I mean, we've got to be near the end of the case now. I cannot see how this can get dragged on any further. And you know, the other thing Stefan also wanted to mention, which I just think is crazy. OMG, are you kidding? Can you freaking believe this? Speaking on January 24th. So this month, guys, Gary Gensler, Mary Jo White, okay, who is on Ripple's legal team, William Hinman, and Robert Jackson together at a meeting on the SEC securities regulation in 2022. That, I think, is going to be a very, very interesting discussion. So we got Gary Gensler here, of course, Robert Jackson Jr., William Hinman, and Mary Jo White from Dibba Voice and Plimpton LLC, of course, Ripple's counsel, as the defendant defending themselves against the SEC's claims. Very, very interesting. I think that will be the panel discussion to watch. That will be the panel discussion of 2022, at least so far. We aren't that far into the year yet, but definitely something that, if recorded and posted online, I will be tuning into. Did you guys also see this? This was from a few days ago. This is from Pillsbury Law and their 2 cents on the Ripple SEC case. Of course, they have a cryptocurrency/digital assets division at their law firm, so they wanted to chime in their 2 cents on the Ripple SEC case. I'm going to play you guys a little bit of this.
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, it's a very interesting area, ripe for a lot of things. Just to start at the bottom of the slide, just to give kind of an example of some of the interesting things happening of late. So this Audet v. Fraser case did not involve the SEC, but private litigants convinced a jury that digital assets were not securities, both applying a Connecticut securities law and also the 34 Act and the Howey test. And that was obviously the SEC has taken the position that they can be considered securities under Howey as investment contract securities. And they are certainly taking that position in the SEC v. Ripple matter dealing with the XRP token. That case is the litigation is ongoing, and lots of headlines coming out of it, including a recent headline where the SEC might be backing away from a position that the head of corporate finance took a couple years ago, that Bitcoin is, he said Bitcoin is not a security. Now they're saying we never really said that. So they're pissing off people just with their litigation stance. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's kind of a broad question of where's the line between cryptocurrencies that would fall exclusively under the CFTC versus a tokenized cryptocurrency or other kind of digital asset, which would be under the SEC's jurisdiction. Obviously there's been a lot of fraud in this area, just like any area with a lot of interest. When I was at the Division of Enforcement, I worked on some of these ICO cases where it's really just a new opportunity to cheat people out of money the same way that, any new thing is. However, the whole marketplace is evolving. And one of the interesting issues coming up now is that, the question of what kind of a secondary market can we have for these securities? And I know the SEC is actively taking, input from people trying to figure out how to have these things be traded. Can they be traded in an exchange, or would it be better suited for an ATS? Can they be listed? Do they really fit into our general listed company standards? And then interestingly, a distributed access organization in Wyoming recently tried to file some Form 10 registrations under the 34 Act, and the SEC rejected them. And admittedly, they were not the best filings, but there's a whole weird issue here where these things are often not registered as securities in the first instance. That's an uncurable problem. But then once you settle whatever problems you have with the SEC, then you do often need to register under the 34 Act. But now the SEC is making clear that's not so easy either. So we are all expecting there to be some developments here. So let's touch base on this in a year and see what's to come. But it's a active, interesting area. And then of course there's the whole question of is it all complete hokum? But no,
we agree.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. Few interesting points here that he mentions right at the end there. He says, let's circle back in a year to really see how this plays out. So it sounds as though from a legal perspective, that is the timeline that they are expecting over there at Pillsbury Law. Also note the Audet versus Fraser jury concludes that certain digital assets were not securities. So there's a precedent-setting case there, finally formalized on November 2nd, 2021, which was just a couple of months ago, where that was indeed the case. And so you heard that gentleman there is one of the lawyers at this firm discussing part of the problems here with the SEC, their case, and why XRP should be free and clear. Also mentioning that 1-year timeline, and just to reiterate that point here, concluding remarks.
Do all this rulemaking that I'm predicting for the next year. And I'm also looking forward to whatever Commissioner Peirce has to say, contrary to whatever rules that are put out. So.
All right, so he also mentions it again over the next year, also looking to hear from Commissioner Peirce on this statement. So interesting to note, Audet versus Fraser, jury concludes that certain digital assets were not securities. This could also be very good information for the Ripple and XRP team fighting against the SEC in court. And this guy's from 138_fool on Twitter. Google that, and you will see what I have just seen. No. Your eyes are not deceiving you. He Googled XRP all-time high. And what Google spits out, and this is funny because this is from Coinbase.com apparently, this result, the current price is 0.84, so about 84 cents per XRP. XRP is 100% below the all-time high of $22,455,176.62. And then it gives the current circulating supply here of about 47.5 billion XRP. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So I decided to Google it for myself. XRP all-time high. And what do I get here? Okay, whoa. A $22 million XRP? You can see here these figures have also changed considering, the market is currently changing. So it looks as though this is being updated. And so where are they getting these figures? Is this just a mistake? Is XRP, or has XRP perhaps reached such a price that maybe us retail traders have not been privy to? Then there's also the question of, can XRP even go beyond $10,000 per coin? I did a video updating the $10,000 XRP theory a few months ago. I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. All things that make you go, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.